Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Matus, and I am just so excited to be able to spend time with everyone to share more information that we always come across when we feel our parents could find value in certain information and in groups. We are just very honored to have one of the founding members of the Autism Warriors group. For me, and as all of you, as a parent of a child with different abilities, with disabilities, however you want to phrase it, with special needs, I find comfort. I find solace when I'm around other families who may have similar situations. There's just so much value when we are able to surround ourselves with others who may have even more experience, more knowledge. I've always felt that knowledge is power, but especially when we can use it or see it in action. So, I really am so excited to have these members here, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves because it's such a great group having this and just knowing that this group is out there to help parents. So, I would think, Stacey, would you please introduce yourself and maybe tell us when you had started the group?
Hi, I'm Stacey. I started the group because my son Jaden, when he was diagnosed, he's now almost 16. Um, April is going to be the 9th year of the New Jersey Autism Warriors. So next year is actually our 10th anniversary. When he got his diagnosis, I didn't really know anything about autism. And through Facebook, I met a couple moms, and there was 15 of us, 15 sitting around, and we decided to start this group, and we've now hit 5,300, over 5,000 families throughout the state of New Jersey. It's amazing. It's amazing how we grow every day. I'm adding new members every day.
And I was wondering too, Stacey, when you first started this, were there other groups on Facebook? I'm always fascinated how Facebook has really provided this outlet for us, this support for us. I was curious when you first started, almost 10 years ago or so, were there other things like
So
it?
there may have been, but I'm not aware because I just did ours. And then as time went by, we started seeing other groups. We're friendly with New Jersey Autism Moms. We're very friendly with them. A lot of mutual members. But but when we first started, I really wasn't aware of all the other groups, if there even were out there.
No, and what I love is the access, right? Because as a parent myself, when my daughter was born, she was now she's 11. So 11 years ago, finding support groups, you really physically had to go places. You had to physically find where you're meeting, and now with this outlet, and you've really utilized it. You've really been able to take advantage of all this platform can offer. And so I can see how it's grown. So now I'm suspecting that you're not the only one managing the group, right?
No, we have Teresa. I actually met Teresa at an event.
Yeah.
It was at she was an intern.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, got, I'm Teresa, and I got set up with the New Jersey Autism Warriors because I was an intern with POAC. I have a background in psychology and, stuff like that. And that's what I was pursuing for my degree. And I need that I could intern at to get my hours for my course. And I was literally at an event and I looked at Gary, hadn't known him, and I said, "You need an intern." He's like, "We do." And that's how I got started with them. And
it was at a bounce house.
Yeah, it was a bounce house in West Windsor. Yeah. And 7-8 years later, I'm now one of the admins for the New Jersey Autism Warriors. And we have a very close partnership with POAC Autism Services. We're basically their online support group, and we work hand in hand with them in doing events and doing support and, just providing services to the families in our community.
That's great. I was thinking, Stacey, when you first were putting this together, did you have an idea what maybe a mission would be or a purpose would be for doing this
Oh,
group?
I always laugh and say, because I don't, Teresa's definitely the brains of this operation. She's a world of knowledge. I didn't know anything about autism or anything. I clicked the create group button. I just thought it was nice to have a couple moms talking, and then I learned, and then we grew, and then I learned more, and then we grew. And of course, when we partnered with POAC, we go to a lot of their trainings, Gary's trainings, and we learn a lot there. So I grew with the group and learned with the group also.
That's great. I think that's the
Yeah.
best way to learn things, because you're doing it together. You're seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then just sharing information. And that's what I loved about your group. When I look through it, there's such an abundance of information, and a lot of heartfelt stories.
Oh,
But
yeah.
what's nice is that there's so many people who identify with it, that we're seeing things that we're like, oh, the experiences that the parents and the loved ones have. Can you tell me, what do you think, between the two of you, might be one of the best features of your group?
I think it's that we really are a family. We have grown so much as a group that we've really gotten to know, knowing that you're not alone, that you're not going through this alone. Before this group, it was almost like every man for themselves. It was like you said, you had to physically go out and find a place that was doing a support group, if they actually were, if you could find one. But with this platform in this way, we've now been able to form friendships. Many people within our group have formed very meaningful, lasting
Right.
friendships. And, that's what it's all about.
Especially in different areas. We have our friends, and we're, it's not just in the group. I mean, we do everything together. I mean, we go on trips together. I mean, we're going on a trip together coming up. I mean, very close. And the children have gone, and that is so important. And the
That's important.
siblings, the children have their own little circle, and it's just amazing. And they see each other, and they hug each other, and they love being together.
It's
And
that community. You created a
Yeah.
community, and that is not easy. To have that family, and that's telling with the numbers that you have. I mean, 5,000 and growing. It's amazing. I really am so excited when I saw that. I didn't realize that's how many people you had. And when you mentioned that, and I've seen it in other, I think when we were reviewing things, I saw that 5K members. I was like, that's amazing. That's really, really, but that just tells you that there's good things happening there, that people should check in, people should look into it, because there's a lot of families who are involved that we could learn from. I can't tell you how many times I've read certain posts, and it's something I never heard of before. But there are many people who are just like, oh yeah, that happened to me. Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Or go to that resource. I think that's just so fantastic. I'm just curious too, with your group, have you seen other people join that are from other states? Because it says, I mean, it's Autism Warriors, but I would think you're, nationally known.
We don't allow it. We're New Jersey
Got it.
based. You have to live in New Jersey.
Got it.
We screen everybody before they join, because we want it to be an ultra local. We want you to be able to reach out and say, you know what, I live in Bergen counties, or anybody that's like me, can we go out and meet? And you're not going to get that with a national type platform.
So true. I never thought of it that way, but you're
We
right.
do.
That actually makes that community even tighter.
Yeah. We have a few members that, they're longstanding members that moved out of state, and we let them stay. I'm not going to tell them to leave. I mean, they're, they have family here. They're still close. They made friendships, and we allow them to stay.
That's great.
We also allow grandparents. Grandparents can live anywhere. My son's grandparents live in England, and Jaden is their only grandchild, and he lives across the pond, 3,000 miles away. So they're members. So we do allow grandparents to live anywhere.
Yeah, because
for support.
We feel it's important that, extended family also have access to this information, because we were finding a lot of families were struggling with their in-laws or with their grandparents and stuff like that, because they didn't understand their grandchild. And then when they come to these meetings and come to our group for support, they realize,
They learn.
like, oh, this is normal. This is what it's like. And it's okay that they're different. It's okay, to, have something a little bit different. And it's helped them to better understand their own families.
I love that. You're absolutely right. Some of the popular entries I've seen are when certain family members are not invited to certain gatherings. And I think
Very
it
sad.
does stem from the unknowing part or not understanding part, and things like that. One of the reasons. I'm sure there's others, and those hurt, right? I mean, those hurt. Those really hurts. But I love how everyone bands together. And I also noticed
Right.
there's no, what do you call, bashing or whatever. Everyone is trying to be open mind, saying, I believe it's because we need to educate more. That is where it's coming from. Everyone seems to put their entries and comments from a source of love and understanding, how I've always seen it. And that's one of the things I love about your group. When certain people say that these are things that are happening to them, it is so easy to say they're wrong, we're right. But I don't see that. I see a lot of understanding comments saying, yes, it hurts. And we can, and let's see what we could do to help you, rather than bash the other person, because it's easy to do that and it hurts. I've seen it. And I love how you've been able to manage that. But here's a question. Is there a popular post that you've been seeing lately because of, with the climate that's been happening with COVID? Is there some popular questions or popular problems that you've been noticing, Teresa or
Yeah.
Stacey? Yeah. What would that be?
Well, I mean, with COVID, a lot of them, the mask mandate, they want to go out, they want to do the things, they want to start, but a lot of them, the kids, they just won't wear the mask.
No.
And really, it does turn into kind of a little bit of an argument sometimes, because some of the members feel that our kids are medically exempt, and it's just not true. It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. I mean, so these different businesses have different rules. I try to find places, like we're going to Diggerland. Well, I know Diggerland, the one person that runs it's got an autistic child. They don't push the mask. They say try, and it's outside.
That's
try.
good.
And yes, you have to wear them, but if your child really won't, you can still come. But then we have Hershey Park, and they won't even let you walk through the gates if you don't have a mask on. So that's definitely a popular question.
Yeah.
Or a problem.
Struggling with virtual schooling is another one.
Oh yeah.
Finding resources, the parents are starting to, I feel like they've just gotten used to the fact that we do so many different events. Pre-COVID, we would have easily over 300 events a year. Wow. And that was throughout the entire state of New Jersey. And our families were getting used to that and getting accustomed to the fact that every weekend there was a choice of where you were going, because there was, between our events, between POEX events, between all the other, groups that are coming out now, with sensory friendly stuff, it was always a choice. And now, I feel like a lot of the parents are feeling like they are being isolated again. And in a way they are, the climate that we're living in, it's kind of, it's really the only option to keep everybody safe. And I think people are just starting to get frustrated. They want to go back out. They want to get back to doing events. They want to see their friends and family.
Yeah. And I see that too. I mean, you're right. The events, the remote learning, the masking, those are hard situations. And I always I think there's like a balance that we could hope to see. But I see it too with my youngest. She cannot tolerate a mask. So, but you're right. You're right, Stacey. There are certain places that they're fine with it. There's certain establishments that it's also not consistent. So we'll go in and they're fine, but she doesn't have a mask. We go in the next month and they're like, where's your mask? And we're like, and I'm always thinking, like, we were just here last week and that was not a problem now. And, and it's so, it's like, okay. So then, and we're, and we're trying to measure, because there are places we have a list where we're saying, okay, these are the good places we can go. And the other place is like, okay, is she ready? Is she ready? Can she do it? We prep her. Everything we
Storybook Land, they're pretty good with they walk in, if they take it down, they might say, put your mask up. I say, well, we have a group, an autism group, and they're like, oh, okay. So, they let you go. So they're pretty good with us.
That's good to know.
Really all depends on the place.
Yeah.
Now, right now, the way your group is, and I see all the good things you're doing, do you have some vision of the future, how you see this group evolving? Do you have an idea where you'd like it to go?
We're just we take it one day at a time. Like we don't have like a master plan as to where we want to go. There's definitely, we feel like there's more families that we can reach and that there's more things that we can do. And we always are looking to grow and, just open everybody's eyes to the different abilities of our kids and getting them out there and doing everything that every other family does.
Is there a message that you'd like to make sure other families know about your group? Something that you feel that makes you probably unique from other groups, if there is anything?
That you're not alone. You're not
You're not
alone.
alone.
We're here. We're
24 hours a day. You can post a question in our board 24 hours a day and somebody will be there. Somebody will be answering,
That's amazing. How many people are helping with managing this?
So we have four other admins besides us, and they're all amazing. Nikki has been with me from day one. I've had other admins, that come and go for various reasons. They're still members. But Nikki's been from day one. Teresa came right after with Tony, Tiffany, Christine. Our friend Tiffany is, on a lot. She helps us a lot with
each one of us does a little, have a little different thing that we do. And, together we work together really well and get everything that needs to be done.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think it's just, but it does take a good team to make this run well, and also to manage it, right? Because I think, things happen and you do need to make sure you are able to make sure they're getting messages out there, educating out there. If there is misinformation, curious, do you have a protocol or anything that, like if there was something
There are
that's like, that's not
rules.
quite, yeah.
Well, we do. We have rules that we try to abide by and make sure everybody knows our rules so that there's no question. We're pretty clear and concise with our rules. As far as misinformation going out there, a lot of our members will pop in and say, "Oh, no, that's wrong." If anybody really has a question, usually Stacey or one of the admins is tagging me to just go over it and make sure that, because we don't want to give people the wrong information. We don't want to, send somebody out there and, have them fail because they've gotten the wrong information.
And it happens, especially when they're looking for, an advocate, attorney, something with their IEP.
Yeah. And we always also, tell everybody to make sure that they do their research.
Right.
You can get all the information you want from here, but you know what? Follow it up with a search.
For sure.
It's so easy.
And
just open another tab.
Yeah, again, everyone's different too. What works for one person may not work for the next family. It's just how it is. That's just how it is.
Because the kids are all so different.
Yeah.
And
I love our old timers. We have, I call them old timers, but the people that have children that are over 21 that live where they didn't have anything. They had no support groups. They had no, Donna Anderson. Her son, Gary's son is 27. Right? 27.
Wow. He'll be 27 tomorrow.
Yeah, he just turned 27. So, I love their insight. I love talking to them. And sometimes they just shake their heads because they realize we had nothing, People don't realize that now.
I agree. You're so right. I feel the same way. When I meet parents with their adult children, I think about everything they've been going through, everything that they didn't have. And how they got through. Even the perception of society at that time, when you look way back, those are the things that really break my heart when I hear what some solutions were from professionals at the time, where you're thinking now, like, my gosh, that's what it sounds so wrong, but I think times change, thank God, and again, as we are all around each other, we see what really should be, we're learning from each other. And I just found that's the value, I think, with your group, not only because you have so many members, but you do have a great insight about how things were
Mhm.
and just how things are. I mean, and but the information I find on your group is just invaluable. And there is solace. I have to say, there are times I love going on it late at night. You know, I think as most parents, sometimes 2, 3 in the morning, we wake up thinking, are we doing enough? Like those questions. And then we look on site and then we see some of the things that good people are doing, give us great ideas, and some things that we're, you know what, I think we're all in the same boat, and I love that, I love that we're all working together. But I really appreciate both of you spending this time. I mean, to me, I'm so honored because again, we've seen the work in there. We appreciate what it takes to put it together, to keep it running. But what you've cultivated, this beautiful community, really, thank you. Thank you so much for
Welcome.
everything you've done. Any words that you wanted to say before we end this wonderful conversation that I feel can go on for days?
Um, no, I mean, like I said, anybody is welcome to join. You can find us on Facebook at New Jersey Autism Warriors. And
Or through POAC.
yeah, also through the POAC website, you can sign up through their POAC.net. But just make
Yeah, we do have a few questions, that you live in New Jersey and whatnot.
That's
Are you a
it.
parent
Oh,
or a grandparent? So we don't let
wonderful.
providers and unless they're a parent. If they're a teacher
Right.
or a therapist, if they have an autistic child, of course they can join. But if that's all they are, then no, we don't.
For
yeah,
sure.
there's other
Absolutely.
platforms.
Right.
Well, I
We want
really,
our members comfortable with talking about things and,
yeah, I
you
think so
know,
too, because you want to be able to talk about your real issues without anyone trying to sell you something or I don't know what. So I think because we're all there as parents, caregivers, family members, that's really what the purpose is. I've seen. That's why another thing I love about your group. So I think it's great. Well, Stacey, Teresa, thank you so much for your time. I mean, really, when I see how much you're doing and that you had agreed to spend this
you're
time with
welcome.
us, so happy. I thank you so, so much. And everyone, again, New Jersey Autism Warriors, what a fantastic group. If you have a loved one who has autism and would love to find out how they help each other, please check it out. I'm sure you're going to find just as much value as I always find every single day, every single hour that you check in. There's always something wonderful in there. Thanks again, Stacey. Thank you, Teresa. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
everything. Thank
Thank
you.
you.